Okay, so imagine this. You've poured, what, 6 years of your life into medicine?
Yes, 6 intense years.
Sleepless nights, anatomy textbooks piled high, those terrifying mock surgeries, all that pressure.
hmm
You finally get your MBBS degree, you pull on that white coat, you're ready. Ready to be a doctor, ready for that final internship.
It's a huge moment. That internship, that's where it all starts to feel real.
Yeah,
The learning curve is steep, but so is the responsibility.
absolutely. But then, bam, you hit this really strange reality. Your financial survival, right when you need to focus most, it hinges entirely on whether you landed in a public college or a private one.
It's quite a shock for many.
Right. Your friend over at a government hospital, maybe in Delhi, they're getting, say, 20,000, maybe 30,000 rupees a month, enough to live on.
Yeah, cover the basics, focus on the job.
Meanwhile, you, doing the exact same work, same long hours, same high stakes, you might be getting peanuts. Or, like we've seen, literally nothing.
Yeah.
Zero.
It's a massive failure of equity, really.
Mhm.
The same critical work, the same frontline healthcare labor, but wildly different compensation. It's just unsustainable.
Totally. Okay, so let's dig into this because there might finally be some light at the end of the tunnel.
hmm
Our deep dive today is all about this major move from India's Union Health Ministry. Just recently, November 6th, they put out this directive basically demanding an end to this pay gap.
And crucially, they're targeting the specific regulatory loophole that let this happen for so long.
Exactly. We could be looking at a level playing field for all future doctors right across India.
And it really boils down to these two key regulations, doesn't it? You've got the older, weaker one for interns, the CRMI regulations.
Right, the compulsory rotating medical internship ones.
And then the newer, much stronger one for the residents, the PGMER, the postgraduate rules.
Yeah.
And the ministry is essentially telling the NMC, the main regulator, hey, make these consistent. Stop this differential treatment.
Okay, let's start with what it's actually like on the ground for these interns. You're rotating maybe through a massive, busy government hospital, or perhaps a quieter private one in, say, Telangana or Kerala.
Doesn't matter where, the job's intense.
Right. Stitching wounds at 3 a.m., monitoring critical patients, juggling charts, dealing with emergencies. It's the real deal, the actual work that keeps hospitals running.
And that's why the pay difference is so damaging. The government intern, they can mostly just focus on learning, on doing the job.
Yeah.
But the private intern, they're often walking this financial tightrope. I mean, there's this story about an intern in Mumbai
Oh, yeah.
pulling crazy long shifts, like 36 hours straight, and then using their few hours off to drive for a ride-sharing app, just to make enough for hostel fees.
That's insane and dangerous, frankly. You can't have exhausted, stressed doctors making critical decisions because they're worried about rent.
Precisely. And this hasn't been some hidden secret. Resident doctors groups, they've been shouting about this for years.
Yeah, like FIMA and FORDA.
Exactly. The Federation of All India Medical Association, FAMA, and the Federation of Resident Doctors Association, 4D, they've been organizing, petitioning, demanding basic respect and financial stability for this essential work.
And it seems like that pressure finally worked because they zeroed in on the policy problem, the root cause.
Right. It tracks back to those 2021 CRMI regulations, the ones for the undergrad interns.
What was wrong with them?
It was this permissive language, sneaky, really. The guidelines did interns should get a stipend as fixed by the appropriate authority applicable to the institution, university, or state.
Okay. That sounds like that should be paid.
On the surface, yes, but appropriate authority became the escape hatch.
So private colleges could just say, well, our appropriate authority decided the stipend is very low or zero.
Yeah, exactly. It gave them the legal cover to lowball or just skip payments entirely. They'd argue their internal structure or costs justified it.
Was that argument ever valid, though? I mean, about higher costs in private institutions?
Well, some private hospitals do invest heavily in infrastructure or specific equipment, but the ministry's recent move kind of cuts through that.
How so?
By pointing to the standard they already set for residents, the postgrads. They're implicitly saying, look, the clinical duty is the same. Your internal costs don't justify paying interns nothing when government hospitals pay.
Got it. So, recognizing these CRMI rules were flawed, the health ministry finally acted November 6th. That letter to the NMC secretary, Raghav Langer.
Yeah, a very direct letter, basically telling the NMC, you need to take a hard look at these 2021 rules. Now,
And they didn't just say fix it. They gave the NMC a roadmap, right? They pointed to another set of rules.
exactly. They invoked the precedent set by the Postgraduate Medical Education Regulations, the PGMER, updated just last year in 2023.
The smarter sibling policy, as we called it.
Yeah. Because the PGMER already fixed this for residents. It mandates equal stipends for all postgrads. Doesn't matter if it's a government or private college, top tier or not. The pay scale is standardized for residents.
So the college's finances are irrelevant for resident pay.
Correct. And the ministry's letter was super specific. It said, essentially, examine this issue, keeping in view the similar provisions under PGMER 2023.
Translation. You already solved this for residents, just copy that solution over for the interns.
Pretty much. Make the rules consistent.
Now, this didn't just happen out of the blue. There was someone pushing this specific angle for years, wasn't there?
Absolutely. A lot of credit goes to Dr. K.V. Babu. He's a doctor and an RTI activist based in Kerala.
RTI, right to information.
Yes. He's been using RTI requests since 2021, methodically highlighting this exact mismatch, pointing out how absurd it was to have strict rules for postgrads and these vague ones for undergrad interns doing similar work.
So he kept forcing the comparison.
Relentlessly. It's a great example of how one persistent individual can drive policy change. Dr. Babu called the ministry's directive an important victory for medicos. And he's pretty confident the NMC now has no choice but to amend those 2021 rules for full parity.
Creating that single standard, finally.
And, it's useful to see this isn't happening in a vacuum. This whole stipend fight has a history in India.
Right, it's not a totally new battle.
No. The old Medical Council of India, the NMC's predecessor, they actually floated similar ideas back in 2019. Sent out some notices about equal pay.
But they fizzled out.
Yeah. Lacked teeth. Didn't have the enforcement power, maybe, which is partly why the courts have had to step in so often.
Thanks, Supreme Court.
Definitely. The Supreme Court has really put pressure on the NMC recently in 2023 and 2024. They even issued show cause notices last November to nearly 200 colleges.
Wow, 200, both government and private.
Yep, about 115 government, 83 private, basically asking, why haven't you provided your stipend details? It showed the court was serious about tracking compliance, or the lack thereof.
And there were earlier court cases too, weren't there?
Oh, yeah. Way back in 2015, the Kerala High Court ordered a private dental college in Thiruvananthapuram to pay stipends matching government rates. That set an early precedent.
And some states have acted on their own too.
Right. Like Maharashtra, just this past July, they mandated a minimum of 18,000 rupees a month for interns in private colleges. Shows states were recognizing the problem independently.
And it even extends to foreign medical graduates now.
Yes, the new guidelines for 2025 make it clear. Foreign graduates doing their mandatory internship in India, they get the full stipend, no fees charged, just like local grads.
Okay, so you've got court pressure, state actions, rules for foreign grads. It feels like all these threads are finally being pulled together by this central ministry directive, aiming for one single national standard.
That seems to be the goal, a unified approach.
So let's talk about the so what. Why does this matter so much, beyond just being fair about paychecks?
Well, because these interns are absolutely fundamental to how hospitals run. They're the glue, often managing huge patient loads, especially in busy wards. They aren't just trainees observing, they're a critical workforce.
They were essential during the pandemic too, weren't they? Manning COVID wards.
Absolutely. Risking their health alongside everyone else. So fair pay isn't some kind of charity, it's fuel for focus.
Fuel for focus, I like that.
Yeah. When a young doctor isn't constantly stressed about making rent or needing to work a side job after a 24-hour shift, they can actually concentrate.
Concentrate on learning, on patient care, on not making mistakes.
Precisely. There's actual data on this. Studies link financial stress and burnout in healthcare workers directly to higher risks of errors.
So paying interns properly isn't just fair to them, it's potentially safer for patients.
It's part of ensuring quality of care. A well-supported, focused intern is a better doctor in training. This directive helps ensure they can dedicate their energy to medicine, not debt collection.
And that brings us to the big picture implication here. If the NMC amends those CRMI rules like everyone expects,
it genuinely creates a level playing field. From north to south, every single graduating doctor starts their career on an equal financial footing with their essential labor recognized.
it's a promise, really. A promise that if you commit to this incredibly demanding profession, the system will support you properly from day one. That has to elevate the standard of healthcare overall.
So, summing it all up, what we've seen is years of protests from resident doctors, really persistent work by an RTI activist, Dr. Babu, and the power of having that postgraduate precedent already in place.
Right, the PGMER rules.
All that combined finally forced the health ministry's hand. They've mandated a review of that loophole, the one causing this huge stipend gap.
A major step towards fixing a long-standing inequity.
Definitely. Which leads us to a final thought for you, the listener. We tend to frame this stipend issue as, an HR problem or just about income fairness.
Yeah, paying people for their work.
But maybe think bigger. Think about the long-term impact on India's entire healthcare infrastructure. What happens when a whole generation of young doctors starts their career financially stable, respected from day one? What could that freedom unleash? The freedom to focus purely on healing, on learning, on innovation, without the crushing weight of debt or the need to hustle for basic survival. Could it lead to better patient outcomes, maybe even medical breakthroughs down the line?
So it's not just about individual income.
It's about strengthening the foundation. It's about investing in the quality and future capacity of India's healthcare system itself, this directive. It's as much about infrastructure as it is about income.